Hi, YouTube channel. I really wasn't planning on making a video today. I ended up going to a comedy show and I spent 10 minutes after the show in the bar and I'm like, I'm done with this scene. I am too old for this. I'm still in my 20s, by the way. I don't know why I think too old for this, but I was just like, I don't want to socialize in a bar with strangers that I don't know. This is not me at all. So I came home, then I'm like, I put on red lipstick for the first time in over a year. Before I take it off, I damn well better shoot a YouTube video, or what was the point? So I'm gonna make a video about something I've been very unsure about doing for a long time, because I had attempted to talk about this before, and every time I just got too self-conscious because I'm like, who am I to talk about this? I know very little about this. I'm just learning. I'm still very uncomfortable in my body, so why would I be the person anyone wants to listen to? But then I realized I can hide behind a book review and say what I want to say and pretend like I'm not trying to preach anyone anything. There it is. The reason I've been very apprehensive about making a video on this topic is because I don't think it's something everyone's ready to discuss. Especially in India, this movement might still be too early. Like, you know, if you talked about feminism like 3 decades ago, not even 3 decades ago, 10 years ago, the word feminist was a bad term. I remember in school, like people would say, you're a feminist, right? And I would defend it. I actually would be like, no, I don't burn bras. I just believe in equality. And they'd still have that look and be like, okay. So yeah, it's cool now, but it wasn't cool before to be a feminist. Or I don't know if it's cool now. People still get intimidated and think I hate all men. But I don't. Just want equal rights. That's all. That's all. For everybody, not just women. Everyone. So anyways, the topic I wanted to cover was, there's a lot of words that we haven't concisely decided what to call it yet. So there's body positivity, body neutrality, fat neutrality, fat acceptance, other words. I'm sure there's many more that have been invented from the time I'm shooting this video to by the time I upload it. It would be false to say it's still in the beginning phase of this movement, because there have been people who've been fighting for this for decades. But it hasn't become as mainstream. The terminology is being still worked out. We've had gay rights for such a long time, and we still keep adding letters to the LGBTQ+. I think there's like a few other letters I'm missing. So it's still in the evolution. I don't know what to call it, but they've put all of these words, body positivity, body neutrality, fat acceptance, all of them fall under the umbrella of being comfortable with your body, being liberated from societal expectations or patriarchy. And it's just like, you know, self-love, just being neutral or not focusing your entire energy on your body. I wanted to introduce 2 books which deal with this in a really good manner. I know there's more books, and I am working through some of them. I'm reading a book called Just Eat It, which talks about intuitive eating. It attacks like dieting culture, and it's a different approach to body neutrality, where it's just telling you how we have different bodies and there is no one diet that fits all. In fact, we shouldn't really diet. So these 2 books focus entirely just on perception of body, the culture around it. Before I recommend the books, for people that are new to this, let me just break down the definitions of all these words. Body positivity is trying to cultivate very positive feelings about your body, where you engage in self-love and where you love your body and everything that it makes you able to do. It's a little unusual because most people, especially women, don't love their body, because we're constantly advertised and told how wrong our bodies are. We're never the right shape. No matter how much you weigh, what you look like, you're either the wrong color, the wrong hair, the wrong size, too much cellulite, too many pimples. I don't know, like your armpits are dark, or there's just you never get to a place in your life where you think your body is okay. Body positivity is just like getting rid of that negativity and loving yourself almost aggressively, being like, this body's amazing, you shut up. As a reaction to body positivity came another movement called body neutrality, which was like, you don't have to love your body. Also, you don't have to hate your body. You just have to be neutral about it. You have to get to a place in your life where it's not the focus of your entire being. Think about it. How much of your day is spent worrying about how much you're eating, what the calories mean to your body, what you look like? So that's body neutrality, where you don't for people who are not comfortable, and my dog is not liking the fact that I'm making a video. What are you doing? Okay. Can you leave? I have to make a video. Virgie, go away. He matches me. Well, he always matches me. I always end up wearing black. So anyways, that's body neutrality. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering these explanations. In reaction to these two, there's a new one that came up called fat acceptance. Part of the reason fat acceptance exists is because, like all movements, body neutrality and body positivity movements were taken over by white people who actually already fit the norm of what's accepted by society. Initially, they were for like people that didn't fit the norm, like black and brown women especially were more focused on body positivity and neutrality, is because they were the ones that we focus on as saying this, you don't fit the norm. But they were taken over by white people, well, like all trends, but that's another discussion. I can't do it justice. There's a lot of nuance to it. But fat acceptance is especially focused on, oh, I hate this term, and they hate this term too, morbidly obese. That's the clinical term, so morbidly obese people is who fat acceptance is for. There's so many movies where we make fun of fat people. We think they deserve less just by the virtue of the fact that they're fat. That's it, nothing else. We look at a person, they're fat, and either that's a joke or we think they're not human enough. Someone being fat, we don't think they deserve space in this world. We make fun of their bodies. Fat acceptance is not just about normalizing all bodies, it's especially about normalizing fat bodies. Yes, body neutrality and body positivity are about like normalizing all bodies, making sure every body is just as accepted. But fat acceptance is like, oh, yes, all bodies should be accepted, but fat people especially need to be accepted because a person's worth does not go down just because they're fat. That's it. Fairness is a big thing in India. I'm sorry, are fair people better people? Think about it. It's very rational that we value people of a lighter skin tone more than people of darker skin tone. And you're saying, no, I don't do that. Yes, you do. I know so many people who say they're exclusively attracted to fair-skinned people, especially women. Women are expected to be fairer-skinned than guys. It is a thing, and if you break it down, there's nothing to it. Maybe it's something left over from being colonized by white people for so long. But it's been like 70 years. Like at this point, you're responsible for what you're perpetuating. Judging a body by its weight is just as ridiculous as judging a body by its color, because you can't affect your color. No amount of Fair and Lovely will make you light. It's melanin. It's genetics. It's melanin. It's based on where you live. It's in your DNA. It's not something you can fix. Fairness doesn't define anything. It's not a personality trait. It's not a characteristic. It's not something you can help. I can't believe I'm getting into fairness. It's kind of ridiculous fairness because natural selection, it's better to be darker than fair. But we have somehow gotten to a point where we idealize the thing that should have been selected out. Darker skins burn less because we have a natural SPF about like 15, whereas light skins or white people have a natural SPF of their skin of 3.5. So we burn less. It's an evolutionary advantage to be darker because you have less sunburn. You're less likely to get skin cancer. The point being, these movements, and I'm not going to say it's right or wrong, though I think they're right, the point they're trying to make is it's just as ridiculous to judge a body by its size, its ability, or its orientation as it is to judge by its color. It's a little complicated to talk about because capitalism is very wrapped up in all of this. Just as now we don't talk about fairness creams, we call it skin lightening. Actually, not even skin lightening. They have moved on to skin brightening now because it's not woke to talk about skin lightening or fairness without getting a lot of backlash. So they've moved on to say brightening. Just rebranding the same material, just like that. So fat shaming has been rebranded now into health and wellness, where instead of saying, oh, you're fat, you should lose weight, this is not okay, we're saying, no, we're worried about your health, your well-being. So we are saying for your good, you should lose some weight, or here are the factors that will affect your life. Except like a lot of research does not support that what we assume is the correct body shape is actually in any way healthy. We don't know what healthy looks like. There is no one way healthy looks like. We've been convinced by magazines and media that it looks a certain way, but it doesn't. It really doesn't. Health is very dependent on your genetics, your race, where you live, and activity. Someone can be really skinny but never works out and eats unhealthy food. On the other hand, there might be someone who's a little on the heavier side but does like a 30-minute walk every day, tries to eat a little healthier, but you wouldn't look at their bodies and know immediately because we have tuned our heads to think this is healthy and this isn't. So you don't know what health looks like. So stop telling people you're unhealthy. Do not, if nothing else, please don't criticize people's weight. That's all I need. Okay, let me introduce the books because my time's running out. Okay, so there's 2 books I wanted to talk about. One is The Body's Not an Apology by Sonya Renee Taylor. This book is fantastic. And the point is that you should not have to ever apologize for your body, ever. It seems revolutionary, but it really shouldn't be. That's it. That's the premise of the book. I think it's a great introductory book for someone who has no idea about any of these movements. I think it's very gentle. It has like exercises and inquiries of like reflections you can do, and it gets into all aspects of it about like how race plays a role into what we find attractive, like how the beauty industry and capitalism play a role in this. And it talks about a concept called radical self-love, which is not going to be easy to practice for anyone, because it's not just like self-love, which is already hard enough to do, but it's like radical self-love where you're obsessively being like, my body is amazing. This falls completely in the category of body positivity. One of the things it starts with is that we're not born hating our bodies. Most of us hate our bodies now. They always think there's something to fix. But as children, we're super fascinated with our bodies. We're always like jumping around, jiggling, playing with our bodies, very careless, comfortable with how we bend it, how we use it, all of it. And we become super conscious as we grow up. So it's a learned habit. It's a societal thing. The point this book, and even this book, are trying to make is that your body is a tool, not an ornament. There's a seminar I attended in college where we talked about this, how at a very young age, we start raising boys and girls differently when it comes to how they view their body. And one of the examples we discussed was that if a child were to fall down and hurt themselves, we would treat a boy child differently from a girl child. We would tell the boy child probably to walk it off, that it's okay, just be careful next time, but go play, be rough, that's fine. Boys can be boys. We're not really worried about how much it'll scar. Where if it's a girl child falls down, we are worried about the scar, where like we tell them they shouldn't move a certain way or do a certain thing. That early, we build it into children's heads. We tell boys to use their bodies as tools, where their worth is not their body, but what they can do with that said body. Whereas girls, we tell them their worth is their body, not what they can do with it, but what it is as is. So we tell them to improve it, be very delicate about it, be very gentle about it, fix it. So there's like that gender nuance that comes in at a very young age, and it really, really fucks us up. And one of the points that it makes that is that how it's something we learn, judging bodies, and it's not something we're born with. There's a lot in this book that I'm not discussing because it's just, I don't want to spoil the entire book. Read it. If anything, it's a good thought exercise. You might not agree with it. That's fine. You don't have to agree with everything. Eventually, you're going to have to get on this train, because if not now, 20 years from now, your children will stand up and be like, you're really, really fucked up for judging bodies this way. So do it then. Do it then, if not now, but might as well do it now. The next book I'm introducing is You Have the Right to Remain Fat by Varjit Tovar. This book is about fat acceptance. And I know that obesity is not as prevalent in India, but it is a lot more common in the US. I think in the United States, 3 out of 4 people fall under obese category or higher. So it's a lot more common there, but it is becoming common everywhere. So this book might not apply to a large demographic yet in India, but it's good to know about it. As I said, I've seen in media how fat people are generally the butt of the joke. We still don't think of them as people. Queer people, gay people have been a butt of the joke in India for a long time. Even now, like I've seen so many movies where the punchline is just, he's gay, ha 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 ha. I don't get it. Like still, that's funny? I mean, that's changing now, but I think it's going to take a while before we stop making fun of fat people. This book is also essentially saying that you shouldn't have to apologize for your body. Even if you weigh 200 kgs, 300 kgs, 400 kgs, I don't know if it's possible to weigh that much. Might be, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not something you have to apologize for. People don't apologize for smoking. People don't apologize for a lot of things, driving recklessly. They're also hazardous to your health. Very, very bad for your health. Because we think that's a personal choice. It's your freedom, it's your choice, it's your right, and you get to decide what you do with this body, that's it. So it's the same way about like fat acceptance. It's their right, their choice. It's not something you can make fun of. It's not a butt of the joke. It's not your place to pass judgment. Just because being a certain weight does not make you a better person in any way at all. Some of the most fit people I know have really boring personalities. Just because you're fit or attractive does not make you automatically interesting. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I still butchered the explanation by a lot of it, but the point of it is that you do check out these books. There's a lot more books in this genre that I am reading. Body acceptance is still relatively new to me. It's something I have only like spent 2 or 3 years actively thinking about. To keep that in context, I've been a feminist most of my life. And even now, there's like days where I trip up and like suddenly be like, oh shit, that was pretty colorist of me or pretty like sexist of me, and I just didn't realize. So it's going to be a journey. You don't fix it in a day. You don't read a book and suddenly become very body neutral or body positive or like have enough radical self-love and confidence to be like, my body is fucking amazing. It doesn't happen that way. It's just something you have to slowly work your through. So I'm sure I got a lot wrong, but it doesn't hurt to start. So do start. If you are someone who's really struggling with how you view your body and it's something that's always weighing on your mind, and if you'd like a tool to be little gentler, little nicer to yourself and love yourself a little more, please read. Please be nicer to your bodies, be nicer to yourself. It'll automatically make you a better person. If you can't love yourself, it's very hard to love other people. So those are the good books. Personally, I am in a better place with my body and my mental health because of these books and because of these movements, because they've helped me more and more think of my body as a tool, or think of my body less. I'm less concerned about how I look like most of the time, and it helps. And these days, when I do think of my body, sometimes I do think of it in wonder, where I'm like, damn, this is an amazing thing. Think about how many chemical reactions, like millions of synapses are firing in tandem for us to have a functioning body. It's pretty spectacular, the human body. And I'm like, I own one. I have one. It's pretty cool. It's fascinating and new and exciting, this relationship I'm getting to build with my body. And that's thanks to these books, especially this one. It's a really good book. Please read it. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Bye from the angry feminist. Yeah.